What's up, y'all? Welcome back. This is another video, and what we're gonna talk about today is my equipment, what I'm working on. Every one of us that are watching these videos, I'm assuming you're watching it because you create music and you have some sort of production setup. And I've been asked what my production setup is, what it looks like, what I'm working on. So I wanted to go over some of the equipment that I'm working on. I'm not going to necessarily go into the VSTs and the plugins and all of that stuff that I'm using, because I'm going to be making separate videos for those, like, you know, reviews on different plugins and VSTs. But this video is going to be about the equipment I'm running and how it's working out for me. So if you don't have some of the things that I'm mentioning in these videos, it's fine. I'll leave the link in the description. You could check it out and I'll let you know if I'm into it or if I'm not into it. If I'm still using the equipment, it's because I'm into it. One of the things I want to say before we even dive too deep into going into what all I have and don't have and all of that, let's just get this straight from the beginning. None of this matters. If you see something in this video and you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Don't get so caught up in what you don't have. Like, what's most important is how you go about utilizing what you do have. Like, just to get into a quick little story, I started making beats when I was about 14 years old. At the time, I was using a very early version of the program Wave. What is it called? Wave. I think it's called Wave Lab. A very early version of that program. So, for anyone who doesn't know, that program isn't for making beats. It's not a DAW. Nothing about it allows you to construct a beat in any kind of useful, productive way. It doesn't have a tempo. It doesn't have a metronome in it. Doesn't have a list of plugins and presets. It's literally just for arranging wave files and then burning them on a CD. I was using that program to create beats. I didn't have any equipment. What I would do is I would find a song that I wanted to sample. I would put that wave file up. Then I would go to the next track and I would sample some random hi-hat that I found from somewhere and literally copy and paste each hi-hat on each of the hits of the sample. Like, I was doing this to no tempo and no metronome. And then I would take that, and if it sounded like it was kind of on beat, I would loop that part that sounds like it's kind of on beat a bunch of times. Then I would take a kick and paste every single kick to every single sample. It sometimes would take me up to 4 to 5 days to make one beat because of how much pasting I was doing. The program wasn't for making beats, but I was making beats on it, and I was selling beats at 15 years old. Like, I sold these beats that I was making on a program that isn't for making beats. The reason I'm saying this is because some of my most creative moments, some of my most creative beats, like, so much so that I wish I could still find some of those beats because I would try to remake them today. But some of my most creative things were made during that era where I had nothing, because it forces you to be more creative. So I say all of that to say I had nothing, I made something. Whatever you have, you can make something out of it, man. The first thing I'd say is I have 2 production setups. So I have a corner in one room, which is where I am right now. The room is very tiny. It's a little bit bigger than what you're seeing in the screen right now, but it's the baby's nursery. She's still pretty young, so she's not really using it right now. So I just use this corner to get some pre-production work done when she's sleeping in the other room. And then in the other room, which is my bedroom, that's where I have my main setup. And that's where I do a lot of my mixing and stuff like that. So I have the bedroom set up, and I have this pre-production setup in the corner of another room. But right now, the main computer that I'm working off of is this one behind me. And this is the 27-inch iMac. As far as productivity is concerned, it gets the job done. Like, and another great thing about this is there's ports in the back to expand on RAM. So part of the other problem in my other room where I do a lot of my mixing, where I guess you could say it's my main setup, but part of the reason why I do most of my work in here now is because that computer I bought it in 2015. The RAM is starting to struggle a little bit, and there is no slots for expandable memory for more RAM. If you get the 27-inch iMac, there's ports in the back of the iMac, so If you find that the initial amount of RAM that you got for the computer isn't enough, you can always buy more RAM and install it. And I just thought that was great because it's going to allow me to kind of work off of this for a while and not have to get another one for at least a little while. I mean, technology is moving so fast, so who knows where we'll end up. But yeah, I have the 27-inch iMac, and here in my other room where I do my mixing, I have, I think it's the 21.5-inch iMac. So that's what I'm working off of there. Anyone who's interested in what DAW I'm using Logic Pro. I love Logic Pro. If you haven't used Logic Pro, I would say now's the time to get into it and really check it out. They just did an update for Logic Pro, and it's amazing. Like, the update makes sampling so much easier. I'm not going to go too deep. I'll go into it in another video. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but it's amazing what you can do on Logic right now. So I have the two computers. I'm running Logic on both of those computers. I also have my MacBook Pro. I don't get a lot of usage out of this. There was a time where I did get more usage out of this. I was bringing it to work and doing a lot of production every day. But lately I've been on paternity leave, and then with with the quarantine and everything, I haven't really been going anywhere, so I haven't been using it a lot lately. But this definitely helps out, especially if you're a producer and you're doing a lot of traveling, you're going to meet other artists, and you need to have a portable setup ready to go. I have Logic in here, and I have this little pouch back here. It's the fill pouch, and you can put your hard drive in there, so just on the go, you're ready to go. And that helps me get a lot of things done. I've actually recorded entire sessions and on the MacBook Pro. So for my audio interface, I'm using the PreSonus Audio Box. 2 ports for the mic, so you can plug in 2 microphones. You can also plug in your guitars, your bass, whatever. It's just a really great piece of equipment. If you're looking for an interface, that's an affordable one to buy. As far as my microphone, I have a very basic but very good entry level mic, the Audio Tech AT2020. It's a great entry level mic, but it holds its own, man. Like, even if you're not entry level and you're just looking for an affordable mic to buy, that one is great. I don't believe I spent well over $100 for that mic either. And I've recorded an entire album on there. I've recorded songs that I've gotten mixed professionally using that mic, and there were no mixing issues. Everything sounded great. It's just a really crisp sounding mic. It really boosts the mid-range and the high frequencies of your vocal, and it provides a clarity in a way that is piercing through a track, but it doesn't hurt. And a lot of times if you get a really cheap mic, you get kind of a tubey sound, and those higher frequencies can start to fall apart a little bit in the mic. But this sounds really good. So instead of getting a mic stand, I just wanted a setup that was a lot more compact. So I got the Eno Gear, I believe that's how you say it. It's a mic arm. You can attach it to your desk, and it kind of operates like a crane, and it holds your mic from your desk. It's kind of like what you would see in people's videos that are doing podcasts and stuff like that. But it definitely works just as good if you're recording vocals or recording a song. I don't have a standard pop filter, the circular one. I have one that wraps around the mic. For my keyboards, I have 2. So I have one that I keep in this room here when I'm making beats. And this one is the MIDI Plus, the AKM 320. The only thing I don't really like about that keyboard, I mean, because it's a MIDI controller, so there's only so much for me to complain about. But the keys, they're very I don't like my keys to be weighted, but I don't like them to be too noisy either. And you get a lot of that noise, that click click, that tapping noise. It looks a very cheap keyboard, like it's plasticky, so you get a lot of that tapping noise when you're hitting the keys. And it just reminds me that, like, I'm using something that's like plastic, and it kind of takes me out the zone a little bit. And my other keyboard, which is the Arteria Mini Lab, it's a white keyboard, it's compact. I love the other functionality. It has the pads on there, so I can, for drums, that's really cool. It's a really good keyboard. It's a really good MIDI controller with a lot of other functionality, and it's affordable. And it's very compact. It can fit in my book bag. Ironically, that keyboard that's a little more professional, and when I say professional, I just mean it has more functionality to it, and costs a little bit more, fits in my book bag perfectly, and it's more on the go ready than the cheaper, more compact MIDI Plus right here. But they both get the job done. I keep the MIDI Plus in this room. I keep the Arteria Mini Lab in my main room, the bedroom. I might switch them out because, like I said, I just like using that keyboard better. So yeah, if I had to suggest any of the two, if you're on a budget, the MIDI Plus is a good option if you're on the budget. But if you want a decent MIDI controller that you're actually going to enjoy and you're probably going to keep for a little while, I would say yeah, the Arteria Mini Lab. That's a good one to go with, and it looks cool. It just looks nice. I had a pair of KRKs, the Rocket 4s. There's old speakers. I just got rid of those. I now have the Cali Audio LP6. And they're amazing. They're great to mix on. The sound is super honest. I just did my first mix on them like a week ago, and for someone who has a room that is not acoustically treated at all, like my room has no acoustic paneling, no anything. These speakers are about as honest as a speaker can get. Like what I was hearing out of the speakers is about as close to 90% what was actually being played to me. So when I finished mixing the song and took it to other speakers, it pretty much sounded exactly like what I was hearing when I was mixing. So much so that I had to go back and redo the mix because I was trying to overcompensate for what I was hearing in the speakers because I was assuming the speakers would lie to me. It turns out they weren't lying to me, and I could have just mixed it normally. And they sound amazing. Like you can boost the volume and they don't fall apart. It's very clear, crisp high end, not too sharp in the mid range. Nice warm low end. You can flatten the sound if you're doing mix. If you're using them for mixing, you can flatten the sound very easily. And in the back, which I thought was really cool, in the back of the monitors, they have a display that shows you how to set up the speakers in your room, in just about any situation. The subwoofer, the port for the subwoofer down at the bottom of the speaker, the opening, it's in the front instead of the back. I know that's not what it's called, but I forgot. The opening in the bottom where the subwoofer goes. Someone fill in the blank. Yeah, that opening, it's not in the back of the monitors, it's in the front. So that's very helpful when you're trying to get an accurate sound with some of that low end. So these speakers are great. My other speakers I have right behind me, you can see the iLoud micro monitors. These are so good. I might end up doing a review on these very soon. These are tiny as hell. You can see, just comparing it to the size of the computer screen. They're super small, super lightweight. I can hold both of them in one hand and it's not even heavy. They're compact. They can fit in your book bag. So if I can currently fit both of those speakers, my laptop, and my Arteria Mini Lab MIDI controller all in my book bag, and I feel fine. With that small size and with how lightweight they are, it does not compromise on sound. The bass is amazing on these. The high end, the mid range, everything is good. They sound like high-end monitors, and they're super small. There's another size. I got the micros. There's another pair that's a little bit bigger. Well, and those are for those are more so for like mixing and stuff like that. But I've actually done a mix on these tiny monitors, and I had to go back and redo the mix, but it wasn't, the tweaking that I had to do, it wasn't a lot. Like these got the job done. Like if I just wanted to start a mix off and maybe get the vocals sounding right, and then go somewhere else and mix it down, these would be great for that. Like you can do a basic mix on these and it sounds great. You can definitely produce and make beats with these and they sound amazing. These are worth getting. If you have a very small in-house setup and all you're doing is making beats, the iLoud micros, amazing. So yeah, I have that, and I think I covered everything. That's everything that I'm using to produce music on. So yeah, that's everything. Again, I'll leave the links in the description. I told you in the beginning, I'm not going to go into too much detail about some of these products, but that doesn't mean you can't ask me detailed questions. So if you have any questions about any of the products that I mentioned in this video, please leave a comment down at the bottom. I read all the comments. I have my notifications on my phone. No matter where I'm at, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can, and I will answer those questions. And if I don't know the answer to those questions, I will tell you I don't know the answer to those questions. How about that? And you can hit that subscribe button if you like this video. As always, if there's anyone out there that you think might find this video useful and find the information in this video useful, please forward this video to them and tell them to subscribe. I'm going to be posting a new video every week, so there's going to be lots of content and lots of things for you guys to check out. And thanks for stopping by. Peace.